So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alejandra Acuña. I'm an assistant professor of social work. My pronouns are she, hers, and ella. I'm here to talk about how faculty and students' connections can be fostered through stories of self. We're social beings, and our brains are wired to connect with others. Our best learning happens in the context of trusting relationships. We all, but particularly students of color, need to feel accepted, understood, and valued in an academic relationship and environment. And finally, the limbic system, that is the part of our brain which regulates emotion and memory, needs to feel safe, calm, and connected so that the prefrontal cortex can regulate thoughts, learning, and goal-directed actions. By telling the story of self, a faculty member can establish grounds for trust, understanding, relationship, and belonging. The power in our story of self is to reveal something of those moments that were deeply meaningful to us in shaping our academic life. Not our deepest private secrets, but the events that shaped our academic journey. Learning to tell a good story of self demands the courage of introspection and of sharing some of what we find in that self-reflection. By being purposeful in our vulnerability, we can potentially serve as role models and instill hope in our students. So M3, which stands for Minority Male Mentoring or Minoritized Male Mentoring, developed a series of poster stories describing the academic journeys of men of color who are CSUN faculty, alumni, and students. The stories illustrate the ups and downs of higher education. So you see the poster stories on the screen. These are two. Both are CSUN faculty members. So I'm going to read one story. And this is from Dr. Jonathan Martinez, a professor in psychology. His story is that as a first-generation college student at UC Irvine, I was placed on academic probation. Not once, but twice. I tried to ignore it, but more than anything, I was ashamed. I never told my parents out of fear of disappointing them, especially my mom. They had so much pride in their son that I did not want to crush their expectations of me. After I found my way and figured out how to successfully navigate the system, I graduated and felt so relieved that I did not let my parents down. But that was not enough. My goal was to pursue a PhD in clinical psychology. The first and second time I applied, I was flat out rejected. Similar to undergrad, something inside me kept me going despite the obstacles and challenges. But I was never alone in this quest. The support and guidance from my family and mentors was instrumental to my perseverance. I earned a PhD in clinical psychology from UCLA in 2013, which was something I could never have imagined while on academic probation. But I made it here, and I belong. So we asked CSUN students about the impact that these poster stories had on them because they're posted all over campus. The two that you see on the screen, as well as about 9 others from alumni and students. And a few themes emerged in the student responses. First, we found a theme I call universality, which is the belief that I am not alone. David's going to read the quotes from students reflecting this theme.
I'm not alone. We share the same life experiences. I honestly got goosebumps reading these stories due to the past experiences of mine replaying in my head. I feel inspired because I too was on academic probation and I was even disqualified, and now I'm back in my senior year. Thanks to those men on the posters, I feel less alone and more motivated to continue on my path. Makes me feel like I belong too. I feel like I'm not alone in my struggles because I know that I'm not the only one facing such difficulties. Reading the posters gives me more motivation to continue pushing through in order to create my own story.
Thank you, David. Students also told us that the posters illustrated important lessons. And so Jeremiah will read the student quotes on that.
We all need someone to talk to that understands us and what we go through daily and what we've been through. I found them to be inspiring and a way to remember where I came from and what I'm ultimately trying to achieve to change the cycle of my life is supposed to end up. The stories are really powerful as they describe a story of overcoming life obstacles. Normally, one would use these obstacles as an excuse, but the stories on the posters are testaments that anything can be overcome, no matter the predicament one finds himself in. Very inspiring and motivating to actually take serious pride in school and ask for help in regards to taking advantage of the resources at CSUN.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And then finally, a third theme was identified, and the third theme was related to inspiring positive emotions.
I felt determined and motivated to continue to work hard and excel as a first-generation college student. It makes me feel like I belong too, encouraging, motivating, and relatable. I like hearing their downfalls and not just their accomplishments. Shows truth and speaks louder. I felt empowered, as if I should have written my own story to help others feel they belong. Feelings of hope. They are all very inspiring. Makes the struggles I'm going through look less intimidating. Others who have gone through their struggles have succeeded, so there's no reason why I can't either. The experiences of those students are inspiring and send a strong vibe and connection. I feel a sense of a warm hug. It gives me inspiration. Me, as a male minority, I sometimes feel ill-motivated, but oftentimes seeing and reading the stories of those powerful individuals makes me feel like I can make it too. These posters are essential for a person of color like me. They serve as great reminders and inspiration. I often study late and walk past these posters, which create confidence.
Thank you, David. I'd like to highlight what we know about the importance of positive emotions. Research tells us that individuals need to experience a 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative feelings, interactions, or experiences in order to optimize our health and well-being. This 5-to-1 ratio also predicts the likelihood that we will stick around in a relationship. I invite you to tell your story to students. You'd be surprised at the impact it has on them in terms of lessons learned, feeling connected and less alone, and positive emotions. Thank you for your interest in student success. I invite you to stay connected. My hope is that your shared story with students can serve as a foundation of trust in a fruitful academic relationship.